Seniors rebuild muscle after 60 with this one power food. What if I told you that somewhere in a quiet village tucked into the misty hills of southern China, there's an 85-year-old woman who can still carry 2 buckets of water on a yoke up a steep dirt path without pausing for breath? And what if I told you that while we're spending billions on gym memberships, protein powders, and anti-aging pills, she's never heard of any of it? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But this isn't fiction. It's real. It's happening every day while we in the West continue to struggle with aching joints, dwindling energy, and a silent epidemic no one likes to talk about: muscle loss after 50. Now here's the twist. The real secret to strength in old age isn't hidden in some high-tech laboratory or patented supplement. It's in your kitchen, or at least it used to be. Section 1. The ancient power we overlooked. There's a reason traditional Chinese medicine practitioners often outlive their Western counterparts, sometimes by decades. There's a reason you can still find spry 90-year-olds in rural villages across Asia, tilling fields, climbing trees, and moving with a grace that puts 40-year-old urban professionals to shame. And there's also a reason why so many of us, despite the smoothies, the gym routines, and the so-called health hacks, feel more tired, more fragile, and more disconnected from vitality than ever before. Let's talk facts. In the United States, it's estimated that up to 45% of people over the age of 60 suffer from sarcopenia, the progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength. And yet most aren't even aware it's happening until they've lost nearly 30% of their muscle. By then, simple acts like climbing stairs or carrying groceries become daily challenges. But here's what most modern medicine doesn't tell you: sarcopenia isn't inevitable. Yes, it's common, but so is vitamin D deficiency, and we don't accept that as a given. So why do we surrender our muscle, our strength, our independence? Because we've misunderstood the root cause. Section 2. The cellular war within. Every single day, your body faces a crossroads, an invisible fork in the road. Option 1, regenerate. Option 2, deteriorate. And it doesn't decide based on willpower or motivation. It decides based on energy, specifically cellular energy. This is where ancient healing wisdom and cutting-edge science converge in a way that most health influencers completely overlook. You see your muscle tissue as just the outward symptom. The real battle is happening inside your mitochondria, the little powerhouses of your cells. When these tiny engines run low on the right fuel, the body begins to cannibalize itself. It breaks down muscle for survival. But what if you could flip that switch? What if you could send your cells the message to build, not break? That's exactly what ancient Chinese healers understood long before the term biohacking ever existed. And their answer wasn't found in a pill. It was found in a humble, nutrient-rich food that has been nourishing people for thousands of years. Section 3. The forgotten nutrient. So what is this mysterious food? No, it's not goji berries, not ginseng, not some obscure root harvested once a year under a full moon. It's fermented soybeans. Yes, you read that right. Something as simple as natto tempeh, or traditionally brewed soy sauce. Not the sugary supermarket version, holds astonishing power when it comes to preserving muscle mass, reducing inflammation, and supporting mitochondrial function. These foods are rich in a compound called vitamin K2, particularly in the form known as menaquinone 7, MK7. This vitamin is almost completely absent from most Western diets. And yet it plays a critical role in calcium metabolism, blood vessel health, and most importantly here, muscle integrity. A 2013 clinical study published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research showed that K2 supplementation significantly reduced age-related decline in muscle strength among older adults. In Japan, where fermented soy is consumed almost daily, rates of sarcopenia are dramatically lower. Coincidence? Hardly. Section 4. My 15-year journey to truth. I've spent the last 15 years traveling across cultures, living with monks in Thailand, interviewing herbalists in Okinawa, learning from elders in remote Korean villages. And you know what I learned? The most effective longevity protocols don't come from labs or luxury wellness centers. They come from simple, consistent habits rooted in ancestral knowledge. And no single discovery has shocked me more than this overlooked nutrient. Not the kale smoothies, not the cryotherapy chambers, not the endless Instagram routines. It was the realization that health isn't just about what you add, but about what you've forgotten. Section 5, a new paradigm for aging. Here's what no one tells you. Muscle loss isn't just about age, it's about signaling. If your body isn't being told to regenerate, it assumes decay is the default. Think of it like a garden. If you don't water the soil, it doesn't just stop growing, it starts dying. But give it the right signal, and life returns. So how do we send that signal? Through targeted nutrition, movement with purpose, and the reintroduction of wisdom that's been stripped from our culture in favor of convenience. It starts with foods that support mitochondrial health, like fermented soy, leafy greens, omega-3s, gentle weight-bearing movement. Think Tai Chi or resistance bands, not just heavy lifting. Restorative sleep cycles, and perhaps most importantly, a mindset shift. Section 6, the mindset of strength. Aging isn't a curse, it's a message. It's your body asking, are you listening? It's the wisdom of your cells saying, you don't have to fade, you can rise. You were never meant to simply survive past 60. You were meant to flourish. And here's the truth, once you reclaim this knowledge, it doesn't just change your muscles. It changes how you walk, how you breathe, how you greet each morning with strength, with steadiness, with certainty. Closing, the lightning bolt moment. Remember when I said the final insight would feel like a lightning bolt? Here it is. The power to rebuild doesn't lie in youth, it lies in your biology, and your biology still listens to ancient wisdom. So the next time someone tells you to accept weakness as part of getting older, smile politely, and then prove them wrong. In the last part, we uncovered a truth that most people have never even considered. Muscle loss isn't the problem, it's the symptom. And the root cause, a silent, fixable deficiency we've ignored for generations. Section continues. The misdirected focus. We've been looking in the wrong direction. Over and over again, modern health advice focuses on the obvious, the shrinking muscle mass, the weakened grip, the unsteady gait. And so well-meaning doctors and fitness professionals respond with what seems logical. They prescribe more protein. They push high-intensity workouts. Seniors are encouraged to lift heavier weights, follow strict regimens, choke down chalky shakes, and force their bodies into routines that often feel punishing, not empowering. But here's what happens next. Their bodies resist. Their progress is minimal, and sometimes their condition even worsens. Why? Because we're not feeding the root system, we're just trimming the leaves. Section, a cultural contrast. Now contrast that with regions where one humble nutrient is consumed daily, often without ceremony. In these cultures, the concept of age-related muscle loss is almost foreign. Elders remain active well into their 80s and 90s, not just walking, but farming, dancing, carrying grandchildren, and living independently with grace. And what makes this even more astonishing? This nutrient isn't hidden deep in some remote jungle or sold at elite wellness stores for $300 a bottle. It's not rare, it's not exotic, and it's definitely not new. This substance has been part of human history for thousands of years. So common, in fact, that most of us completely overlook it. It's been quietly waiting in our pantries, woven into the traditions of wise cultures while we've been chasing trends and miracle cures. In ancient teachings, especially within the traditions of Chinese medicine, this nutrient was revered. The elders had a name for it, shihani, roughly translated the one that feeds the deepest fire. They weren't talking about muscle mass. They were talking about the engine behind the muscle. They understood something our modern science is only just beginning to validate, that strength, resilience, and graceful aging begin at the cellular level. Section: a challenge to belief. So pause for a moment. Take a breath. Now ask yourself, what if everything you've been told about aging was incomplete, maybe even wrong? What if the weakness, the fatigue, the physical decline we've come to expect as part of getting older isn't some unchangeable fate, but rather the outcome of one simple deficiency? And more importantly, what if it's entirely reversible? What if at 70 your body could be stronger, more alive, and more resilient than it was at 50? Not in spite of your age, but because you've finally given it what it was missing all along. Let that idea settle, because it's not a fantasy. It's a physiological truth rooted in both ancient tradition and modern biochemistry. Section: the life-changing revelation. Here it is. The nutrient that the old masters spoke of, what they called shani, isn't a vitamin. It isn't a mineral. It's not some trendy adaptogen from a distant land. It's something far more fundamental. It exists in every single living cell in your body and in every cell of every living organism on this planet. It's called coenzyme Q10, or more commonly CoQ10. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Oh, I've heard of that," pause again. Because this isn't about just popping another supplement off the shelf at your local drugstore. Most people who take CoQ10 don't realize they're consuming the wrong form, a synthetic version that the body can barely absorb. These cheap variants might list big milligram numbers on the label, but less than 10 ever reaches your cells in usable form, and so they see little to no benefit. Another miracle supplement that disappoints. But the traditional foods, the real ones, contain naturally occurring bioavailable forms of CoQ10 that the body immediately recognizes and utilizes. Foods like fermented soy, organ meats, and certain aged cheeses contain this nutrient in its active form, ready to support your body's most vital systems. Section: the role of mitochondria. Let's go deeper. CoQ10 isn't just helpful, it's essential. It's the spark plug for your cell's mitochondria, the microscopic power plants inside you responsible for energy production. Every time your heart beats, every thought you think, every step you take, your mitochondria are working behind the scenes, converting nutrients into the fuel your body runs on. As we age, though, those mitochondria start to slow down. They become less efficient, like a battery that can't hold a charge. And that slowdown affects everything from your physical strength to your mental clarity to your immune function. But here's the revolutionary insight: this decline is not irreversible. In fact, it's possible to recharge your cellular energy systems at any age. With the right fuel, your mitochondria can produce more energy, replicate more efficiently, and restore vitality from the inside out. And CoQ10 is the key. Section: why this matters more than ever. According to recent research published in Frontiers in Bioscience, CoQ10 and levels in the heart and skeletal muscle decline by over 50% by the time we reach 80. And yet most Western medical protocols don't include testing or addressing this. That's a massive blind spot. Because low CoQ10 levels don't just make you feel tired, they directly impact your ability to maintain muscle mass, recover from injury, and protect your cardiovascular system. In cultures where traditional CoQ10-rich foods are part of daily life, these problems are significantly less prevalent. This isn't just about nutrition. It's about sovereignty over your own health. Closing: deep connection. What moves me most about all of this isn't just the science. It's the feeling of reconnection to a deeper part of ourselves, to a time when food was medicine, when aging was respected, not feared, when strength wasn't about aesthetics, it was about purpose. Your body isn't broken, it's waiting. waiting to be reminded of how powerful it truly is when given the right support. And now, you know what that support looks like. Previously, we explored how your body isn't breaking down out of failure, but out of need. It's been trying to speak to you all along. The real issue, we've simply forgotten how to listen. Section: the body speaks if you listen. Your body is not your enemy. It's not betraying you, it's not giving out. It's signaling loudly, clearly, and often what it needs in order to heal, to thrive, to be strong again. Every ache in your joints, every wave of fatigue, every subtle sign we chalk up to normal aging is actually a plea, a biological cry for help. The problem isn't your age, it's that we've been trained to ignore the body's deeper language. Section: stories from the front lines of aging. I think back to the countless seniors I've had the honor of working with, men and women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who were told that their strength was gone for good, that the sagging muscles, the lost energy, the breathlessness after climbing stairs were all just part of the natural decline. They'd sit quietly in my office, nodding along to what their doctors told them, until they heard something different, until they realized that decline is not destiny, that vitality isn't reserved for the young, it's a birthright that can be reclaimed with the right knowledge and nourishment. I will never forget the light in their eyes when it clicked, when they first felt the strength returning to their legs, when they walked without that persistent ache in their hips, when they looked in the mirror and saw someone alive again, not fading. Section: this isn't vanity, this is vindication. Let's be clear. This isn't about reversing time or pretending to be 20 again. This is about honoring the wisdom within your cells. It's about understanding that aging doesn't have to mean weakening. It can mean deepening, deepening strength, deepening energy, deepening connection to your body. When you start feeding your cells what they actually need, when your mitochondria, the tiny engines of your body, receive the nutrients they were designed to use, the results are nothing short of remarkable. That afternoon, creativity begins to fade. That muscle fatigue starts to lift. That brain fog clears like a morning mist. Suddenly, you're not just surviving another day, you're inhabiting a body that works with you, not against you. Section: ancient healing, modern proof. Here's where ancient tradition and modern science come full circle. Healers of old understood something we're only now beginning to quantify with microscopes and peer-reviewed studies. The body wants to heal. It wants to be strong. It wants to thrive. But it needs the right terrain, the right raw materials, the right conditions. Section: the practical answer you've been waiting for. So let's get specific. What food contains this miracle nutrient coenzyme Q10 in the most bioavailable, effective form? The answer may surprise you, because it's not some rare plant harvested under the moonlight. It's not a hyper-processed powder in fancy packaging. It's organ meats, specifically heart tissue from grass-fed animals. Yes, you heard that right, heart. Why the heart? Because it's nature's densest, most powerful source of CoQ10. The heart, an organ that never stops beating, pumping, energizing, is the very embodiment of cellular vitality. And it contains more CoQ10 than any other tissue in the body. It is quite literally the fuel of life. Section: a bridge between tradition and today. Now maybe you're thinking organ meats, that sounds strange. Maybe even a little gross. You're not alone. For many in the West, organ meats have fallen out of favor, replaced by lean muscle cuts and processed foods. But let's not forget, traditional cultures revered these parts. They didn't waste them. They honored them. Muscle meats gave strength, yes, but organs were sacred. They were nutrient treasure troves, dense with the vitamins, minerals, and enzymes that support longevity. And in many cultures, the heart was reserved for the elders, the wise ones, precisely because of its restorative power. Section: modern convenience, ancient benefit. Fortunately, today you don't have to eat liver stew or pan-fried heart to access these benefits unless you want to. Thanks to freeze-drying technology, we can now preserve the integrity of these powerful organs without the taste or texture barriers that turn many people off. High-quality grass-fed organ supplements deliver concentrated bioavailable nutrients straight to your cells, no chopping, cooking, or gag reflex required. But remember, not all supplements are created equal. The source matters. Grass-fed, pasture-raised animals raised without hormones or antibiotics produce vastly superior nutrient profiles. The processing matters. Low-heat freeze-drying preserves delicate compounds that are otherwise destroyed in high-heat manufacturing. The form matters. Your body recognizes whole food-based nutrients far more effectively than synthetic isolates. When you combine these factors, you get a supplement that actually delivers results. Section Sunt. Rapid results, lasting change. What's most exciting is how quickly people start noticing the difference. Within weeks of replenishing their CoQ10 stores and supporting their mitochondria, many report renewed energy throughout the day, sharper mental focus, increased endurance and stamina, even better mood stability. Because when your cells are energized, everything changes. Closing, a return to wholeness. This isn't about chasing youth, it's about reclaiming something deeper. A partnership with your body, a respect for ancient knowledge, a choice to believe that strength, clarity, and vitality don't belong to the past, they belong to the present. And the solution, it's not expensive, it's not experimental, it's not impossible, it's real, it's time-tested, and it's already inside you waiting to be reawakened. Earlier, we explored how high-quality organ meats, particularly heart tissue, can deliver a powerful form of CoQ10 your body immediately recognizes and uses. Now let's look at what happens when you finally give your cells what they've been begging for. Section: Rapid results that feel like miracles. Within just a few short weeks, something remarkable often begins to happen. Not because of magic, not because of hype, but because the body finally receives what it's been lacking for years, maybe even decades. People report a surge in energy, not the jittery kind from caffeine or stimulants, but a deep, steady vitality that lasts through the day. They sleep more soundly. Their mood becomes noticeably brighter. And yes, most exciting of all, they regain muscle strength and recover faster after activity. This isn't a placebo. It's physiology. When your mitochondria are properly fueled, everything improves from the way your cells produce energy to how your body repairs, grows, and functions. Section: A story that changed everything. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret was 73 when she attended one of my wellness workshops last year. She came in with a quiet presence, the kind that carries both wisdom and weariness. You could see in her posture that she'd been told over and over that aging meant giving up. Her doctors had already written the story for her: muscle weakness, just age, fatigue expected, struggling to stand from a chair, unfortunate but normal. Margaret could barely lift her grocery bags. She needed both arms just to push herself up from a soft couch. Her adult children had already begun discussions about moving her into assisted living. When I spoke about cellular energy, mitochondrial health, and the power of ancient nutrients, she didn't jump up with excitement. She was skeptical. Who wouldn't be? She'd tried everything: protein powders, physical therapy sessions that left her drained, and even costly IV treatments that promised the world, but delivered little. But there was something different about this. Maybe it was the simplicity. Maybe it was the connection to ancient wisdom. Maybe it was just that she had nothing left to lose. So Margaret tried. Slowly, she began incorporating small doses of high-quality grass-fed heart tissue supplements into her daily routine, rich in naturally occurring bioavailable CoQ10. Section: Small shifts, big results. Within 3 weeks, Margaret noticed something unexpected. She was sleeping better, deeper, waking up with a bit more lightness in her body. By 6 weeks, she was carrying her grocery bags again without even realizing it at first. It was only later that day she laughed and said, "Wait a minute, I didn't need help today." By 3 months, the transformation was undeniable. She wasn't just standing up with ease, she was walking farther, faster, stronger. Her legs felt sturdier, her balance more reliable. She was moving like someone who had gotten 10 years of her life back. But the most profound change, it wasn't physical. Section, the shift within. Margaret looked me in the eyes and said something I'll never forget. "I spent years believing my best days were behind me, but now I see they might just be starting." That moment, that realization. That's the true gift of healing, because Margaret realized something many never do. She had been living inside someone else's story about aging. She had accepted weakness as her fate. She thought decline was inevitable. But once her body responded, once her strength returned, so did her belief in herself. At 74, Margaret started hiking again. She began volunteering in a local community garden. She rejoined her church's outreach program and even helped organize a senior fitness walk. She moved from resignation to reclamation. Section, Margaret isn't alone. Here's the truth, Margaret's story isn't an outlier. It's one of many. I've seen dozens, no hundreds of people experience similar transformations once they stop chasing symptoms and start nourishing their bodies at the cellular level. The human body, your body, has a staggering capacity for renewal, regeneration, and recovery at any age. But it can only do so when it has what it needs. It's not about doing more. It's about giving the body the right support that your mitochondria can recognize, absorb, and use to rebuild from the inside out. Section, the science finally catches up. And now modern science is confirming what traditional healers knew long ago. Research into mitochondrial function and aging is exploding. According to a 2021 study published in Antioxidants CoQ10, deficiency is alarmingly widespread among adults over 50, contributing to reduced energy production, impaired muscle strength, and even cognitive decline. Supplementing with bioavailable forms of CoQ10 has been shown to significantly increase ATP production, your body's core energy currency, improve muscle performance and post-exercise recovery, enhance mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new mitochondria. But here's where most studies fall short and where ancient wisdom still has the upper hand. Not all CoQ10 is created equal. Most over-the-counter CoQ10 supplements use ubiquinone, a cheaper synthetic form that the body struggles to convert. Even when converted, it may not reach the cells where it's needed most. In contrast, the naturally occurring form found in organ meats, especially heart tissue, is recognized by the body as food, not as a foreign substance. That one distinction changes everything. Closing what this really means for you. So if you've been feeling weak, tired, or disconnected from your body, if you've been told that aging means fading, if you've accepted that story like Margaret once did, know this, that story isn't true, and it doesn't have to be yours, because the body is capable of change, not just in its 30s or 40s, but in its 60s, 70s, and beyond. All it needs is the right fuel. Margaret's story reminded us of the body's incredible potential, but her transformation wasn't luck. It was the result of nourishing the body at its foundation, the cellular level. And now modern research is proving just how powerful that approach can be. Section, science confirms what tradition always knew. When we use the right form of CoQ10, especially the kind found in heart tissue or high-quality organ supplements, our bodies don't just absorb it better, they use it more effectively. These natural forms are recognized by our biology as food, not as artificial compounds to be filtered and discarded. And this difference in absorption has massive implications. We're now witnessing a wave of research that's redefining how we think about aging, especially sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength in older adults. Once considered an inevitable decline, it's now being prevented and even reversed in studies focused on mitochondrial support. One 2020 study in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia and Muscle found that seniors who supported their mitochondrial function through targeted nutrients experienced statistically significant gains in both muscle mass and strength. We're not just talking about slowing down decay. We're talking about actual regeneration. Yes, regeneration. The kind that restores physical strength, improves mobility, and enhances the ability to live independently. For many, this means avoiding canes walkers and even assisted living facilities. Section: Beyond the muscles, whole body renewal. What's even more thrilling is what researchers are now discovering beyond just physical performance. Mitochondrial health doesn't only determine the strength in your arms or legs, it influences how you think, how you feel, and how you engage with the world. Because when your cells are energized, your brain begins to fire more clearly. Mental fog lifts, memory improves, processing speed quickens. Your mood stabilizes, you're less irritable, more resilient, more emotionally grounded. Your energy returns not as a short-lived boost, but as a steady current that powers your day. Even your immune function improves because mitochondria help regulate inflammation at the cellular level. And all of this isn't theoretical. It's backed by peer-reviewed science, not alternative health wish lists. What our ancestors knew instinctively, researchers are now confirming with microscopes and controlled trials. The body is built to renew itself, but only when we understand and support its deepest biological needs. Section: A shift in how we view ourselves. And here's what moves me most about this work. It's not just about changing how people feel physically. It's about transforming how they see themselves. When someone realizes that their decline is not inevitable, something powerful happens. They no longer view themselves as victims of time. They begin to view themselves as partners in their own vitality. This isn't just about health, it's about identity. That ancient wisdom about Shaheni, the fire within, is more than metaphor. It reminds us of something profoundly human. We are not machines breaking down with age. We are living systems capable of adaptation, healing, and strength at any stage of life. But we must work with our biology, not fight against it. Section: The lives that change when this is understood. I think about the seniors I've seen embrace this mindset, the ones who went from fear to strength, from managing decline to creating vitality, from being told they were burdens to becoming pillars of wisdom in their families and communities. There is something profoundly spiritual, almost sacred, about reclaiming your physical power later in life. It's not about vanity. It's not about chasing youth. It's about honoring the incredible journey your body has taken you on. Every step, every scar, every lesson. And now it's about supporting that body to continue thriving. Because within every cell lives the same life force that has carried humanity through centuries of survival, growth, and triumph. That force is still in you, and it can be reignited no matter how old you are. Section: The psychology of renewal. When people begin to feel their energy return, when they sense their muscles coming back, their minds sharpening their days, expanding, something deep inside shifts. They begin to realize something they'd long forgotten: their best chapters may still be ahead. That their deepest contributions might not be behind them, but waiting to be written. And that shift, it's not just personal. It has ripple effects across families, communities, and generations. Section: A crisis within a solution. Because let's be honest, this isn't just about individual health. We are facing a global aging population crisis in countries around the world, especially in the US. Japan, South Korea, and many parts of Europe, healthcare systems are becoming overwhelmed. Seniors are entering late life weaker and sicker than previous generations. Billions are being spent not to restore health, but to manage decline. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if more people knew that decline is not mandatory? What if more seniors were taught how to support their mitochondria and cellular energy before their muscles wasted away, before their minds dulled? The implications would be profound. We'd have fewer hospitalizations, fewer nursing home placements, more seniors volunteering mentoring, creating, contributing, living fully, not fading quietly. Closing, the call to rethink aging itself. This isn't about extending life at any cost. It's about enhancing the quality of the life you already have, with the body you already have, using the wisdom your body already carries. So the question becomes, are we ready to rethink aging, to stop managing decline and start building resilience? To stop accepting the narrative of brokenness and start telling the story of strength? Because your body remembers. And once you begin to feed that memory, once you light that fire again, there's no telling what the next chapter might hold. In the last part, we explored how restoring energy and vitality in older adults doesn't just change one life. It uplifts entire families, communities, and even healthcare systems. Now let's ask the question that matters most. What if decline is not inevitable? Section: what if we've been wrong about aging? What if everything we've accepted as normal about getting older was simply a misunderstanding? What if strength, clarity, and independence could extend not just into your 60s, but into your 70s, 80s, even 90s? This is more than personal wellness. This is a cultural shift. Because when we support people, truly support them to maintain their vitality, everything changes. Seniors remain strong, active, and engaged. Families are no longer overwhelmed by caregiving burdens. Healthcare systems aren't flooded with preventable chronic conditions. Communities are enriched by elders who don't just carry wisdom, but the energy and will to share it. Section: the ripple effect of reclaimed strength. I've witnessed entire communities transform when their senior members step back into their strength. Older adults become more than recipients of care. They become mentors, volunteers, caregivers, and community leaders. Imagine a grandmother teaching her grandchildren how to plant a garden, not from a chair, but kneeling beside them in the soil. Or a retired teacher running a literacy circle at the local library, her voice strong, her posture tall. Or an 80-year-old man once dependent on others for meals, now cooking for his neighbors at the community center. These aren't fantasies, they're real stories from people who realized one thing: aging is not the same as declining. Section: the most powerful change happens within. But the most profound transformation, it's internal. When you feel energy return to your body, when you experience the strength you thought was lost, it shifts everything about how you see yourself. You stop preparing for the end. You start preparing for what's next. You stop counting down, you start building up. And in that moment, your later years become not a slow fade, but a powerful ascent. Section: the gift our modern world needs. This ancient wisdom about mitochondrial energy, about cellular nourishment, offers something we desperately need in today's world: hope. Not vague motivational hope, but real, practical, science-backed hope that the later years of life can be your strongest years. Hope that aging isn't a descent, it's a deepening of insight, a deepening of vitality, a deepening of purpose and presence. Section: the ultimate truth about aging. So here it is, the truth that can change everything about how you look at the next 10 to even 30 years of your life. Your body right now still contains the same life force it did when you were young. The same cellular intelligence, the same capacity for healing, strength, and energy. What's changed? Not your nature, your support, not your biology, your belief. The difference lies in how well you understand and nourish your body's deepest needs. Section: Shihani, keeping the inner fire alive. The ancient wisdom keepers who spoke of Shihani, the one that feeds the deepest fire, knew something powerful. The fire doesn't go out unless we stop feeding it. Right now, inside your cells, your mitochondria are waiting for the nutrients, the support, the care they need to thrive. Right now, your muscles are still capable of becoming stronger. Your energy systems are still capable of being restored. Your brain is still capable of becoming sharper and more alive. The question isn't if it's possible. The question is, will you give your body the chance to do what it's been designed to do? Section: This isn't about turning back time. This isn't about pretending to be 25 again. It's about becoming more fully yourself than ever before. A human being with a powerful story, a resilient body, and a renewable well of energy regardless of age. It's about honoring the lessons your body has learned through decades of experience while supporting it to function at its highest potential. Because when you understand this truth, not just intellectually, but in your cells, when you feel it in how you move, how you sleep, how you breathe, you begin to realize everything you've been told about aging was just a story. And here's the best part: stories can be rewritten. After everything we've explored, how the body responds to proper support, how ancient wisdom meets modern science, how strength can return at any age, one truth remains: your next chapter is still unwritten, and you hold the pen. Section: This is not the end, it's a new beginning. Your story can be rewritten, not in theory, not as a metaphor, but truly tangibly rewritten starting right now. At whatever age you are today, your future is not fixed. It's still unfolding, and your next chapter, it can be your strongest one yet. The ancient healers understood this. Traditional cultures across the world, those that honored their elders not as burdens but as beacons of wisdom and vitality, lived by this truth. Now modern science is catching up, confirming what they always knew. Strength and energy can return even late in life when we learn how to support the body the way it was designed to be supported. And now you know this too. So the only question that remains is simple but profound. What will you do with this knowledge? Section: The choice is yours. Will you choose to feed the fire within you? Will you choose to reclaim your vitality, to take back your energy to live? Not as a passenger to time, but as a partner in your own renewal. Because remember this: you are not a victim of time. You are a co-author of your life's second act. You are not being betrayed by your body, it's asking gently for your help. And that help, it doesn't come wrapped in mystery or complexity. It comes in the form of simple, natural support from nutrient-dense foods, from healing movement, from rest, from belief, and from the power of consistency. Your body is not finished. Your strength is not gone. Your fire is not out. It's just waiting quietly, patiently for you to feed it again. Section: This is your moment. Claim it. This is your moment, not to wish, not to wait, but to act, to choose, to step fully into a new relationship with your body, your age, and your future. Because deep inside you, there is still untapped vitality. There is energy ready to move. There is clarity waiting to return, and there is a version of you, a vibrant, grounded, capable version who is still becoming. This is your invitation to rise, to reset, to reignite. The ancient wisdom is calling. Your cells are listening. Your future self, the one you haven't met yet, is watching. What will you choose? If this message sparked something inside you, if it reminded you that it's never too late to feel strong, clear, and fully alive, then don't let this moment pass quietly. Click the like button if you're ready to stop counting down and start building up. Subscribe to Life After 60. Today, for more uplifting stories, science-backed wellness insights, and practical tools to help you thrive. not just survive in the second half of life. And in the comments below, share one thing. What will your next chapter be about? Let's rewrite the narrative around aging together. Because your best years don't live behind you. They live in the pages you haven't written yet, and they begin now.